right, everybody, let's get on with Thursday. Marathon session already for me. I might even be a little talked out, but we just did 2 hours of a crypto webinar, part three installment. So big shout out to all the folks that made it over there. Great session. It gets me amped up, and you guys, everyone should be getting amped up for what's about to come. Get ready. That's what I told that group. Showed them some things. Just get with it. If you want access to that recording, get with us. Get a free trial right now. Get over to Harmonic Pattern Collection for TradingView. Free 2-week trial. And get that by sending your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. I will even kick in a link to today's webinar. So for everybody that signs up, and then subscribe, get the trial, then subscribe. You know what to do. Okay. Today I talked about crypto in that seminar. But let's start with stock market. Remember that? Remember stocks? Check this chart out. Look at the Qs. Let's take a look at NASDAQ 100 really quick. Then I'll look at the SPY, and then we'll jump to Bitcoin. Incredible markets. What's going on, chat? Great to see everybody. Hype it up. Incredible. Ephraim, Miss Stephanie, David, Edward, Mr. Ken, Sheed, AA Ron, Victoria, Cactus Leo, Roy, Alex, Ponzi. Lieutenant Ponzi is gracing us with his presence in the chat. Check him out on Twitter. Pure fire. Pure fire. Let's get to the Qs, though. Listen. What about this hammer? Anyone notice this? Check out what's happening here. On price action alone, if you just like candlesticks, and I'm a big candlestick admirer, that's some crazy strong action. 449 on the Qs right now. And just be aware, 2024 is already acting as as strong as it possibly can. And I just want to highlight a few things that people should be aware of going on right now. And oh, by the way, happy spring. Here we are, March 21st. For us in Miami, it's the beginning of summer. I like it. I'm a heat guy. I'm not a cold guy. But what's getting really hot are these markets. And we got to look at it just so you understand kind of the degree to which not only it's happening in the short term, but what's happening longer term all builds to where we need to go. We're definitely want to get this thing to a 1618 on the weekly. But before we go to that target, let's outline what's happening right now. Okay? There's the beginning of the year, 2024. This bottom indicator, that's amplified RSI. What does everyone notice here? Well, ever since this thing headed back up, it has held the 50 line on a daily basis as this trend channel just continues to rock. Simple regression trend channel of just even this most recent move gives you kind of the immediate roadmap of how soon QQQ is going to get to where it's going within that grinding upside range, and understanding that holding the 50 line on amplified and HSI for that matter, now that we're heading back up into the extreme, broke out above that prior reading, come on back. Go have this next move be the move that realizes another oversold level. But in doing so, Look, QQQ price level right now, running to the top end of that channel. That's like 460. Easy. This channel is fully intact. That's your minimum level to get you to where you're going to go. Where are we going? Well, this has got to be the year of the 1618. The 1618 extension on QQQ, on the SPY, on Bitcoin. Okay, go back here. As a cycle extension, this has always been the target, really, since we blew out the 886. But now that we've violated the shark pattern, we're like that. 1618, 500. You're 448 right now, 449. We've been talking about this for 6 months. All right. Hold on. I got to disconnect something. Thanks. Okay, I had to turn something off. So this 1618 extension on the Qs, that's our upside target, and we've been looking at simply the retest of the prior highs with a shark. What does that mean? You know, what does it mean that that's a shark? Like, is there a difference between this being a shark versus a bat? Yeah. The shark is a more impulsive pattern. We had a little reaction, but once the shark fails, the possibilities kind of run out. You don't have a W formation here, really, that can give you indication where this possibly could go off of that structure. It's more of assuming, hey, all-time highs have broken out. You had a brief consolidation phase, but now you're starting a new leg. What's the minimum? I think we all can agree that, hey, this action's pretty strong. You've got some good strength behind it, and it's only March. It's, later March. Earnings not even are coming up. That's not stopping anytime soon. And our next levels, again, minimums, 1618s. We've seen it before. It happens like this. We take it in chunks. Now, of course, it can go higher than that, but just get me to 500. Get me to 505. In the meantime, I'm going to position myself with, say, 4-hour patterns, 4-hour oversold signals within this trend line for that to continue. I would be projecting like 460 on this run because we are, we've held the test at 435. The only thing we had to deal with all year long, I mentioned this was like January, February, was this deep crab. Let me remove this. Come on. Just take it off. There you go. Listen, this has been the breakout point. The true harmonic pattern breakout, that was, your late January correction move. You did the retest, and then typically we're on a retest of the pattern. Shouldn't that go to a target too? Well, if it fails, you had a real nice test at target 2 off of this pattern. What did you do? You ran into some oversold readings at a high level. At the same time, folks, all the basic guidelines to know when does the pattern fail? And you'll do this with crypto too, trust me. We'll have bearish patterns, but they will be temporary pauses. And you start to get 30 bars past that test, or you have oversold triggers that resume the uptrend, you got to say, all right, this is very well likely to break out, be the breakout point. That's been the breakout. You retested that. So we're starting this launch phase into the earnings that should say, okay, this pause, this break is over. And let's get ready for breakout move 1618 up at 500. I'm thinking June. I'm thinking June we could get there, but based on everything to happen, Bitcoin halving coming up in April, everyone's going to be on this. You've got eyeballs on the market, speculators, retail traders, investors, the amount of money. All of this is unprecedented, folks. It really is. For that reason, 500, 505, that's the target. 4 Qs. Plan accordingly. Stay with it. And I don't, not to complicate it more than just the big caps, SMH, another big continuation. I don't think that's going to stop. Your weekly SMH is already, look what this thing has done. We had some bearish patterns on a lot of stocks and a lot of big markets. We had the all-time high from 2 years ago, and these other patterns that materialized in the big techs and semi index, and look, you paused, you consolidated for several months, and then you broke out and failed the pattern. You fail a pattern, it's a big deal, especially a weekly pattern like that. It usually suggests you are into a much larger established leg. You almost have to pull out your timeline, almost go from like weekly to monthly chart at this point. SMH is, we said all along, the 1618 was usually a first stop. And that's it. It was 210. You're 230 now. 2618, 295 or 300 for SMH is easy because we're in that, we're already halfway through that type of an accelerated move. That's what's going on. Part of the read. So again, probably the rosiest 3 to 6 months we have seen in the last several years. Now, of course, the big ones, Microsoft, new highs again and again. This is from last time, 2618. These are doing massive moves. Truly remarkable. NVIDIA, look, NVIDIA is going to 1,000. There's nothing you can do. It's just every green candle for this year. Has there been one weekly red candle this year on NVIDIA? Okay. No. That's just remarkable stuff. A couple others that are kind of crazy, just the Broadcoms of the world. They try to take it down for a week or two. You get stuff like that. And you should get, if this is going to be that kind of a move, which it is, then you get a couple of weeks, 2-3 week pause, and then bullish engulfing. Remember though, I mentioned this. Check out the HSI, folks. Harmonic Strength Index came in on the daily. You had a dot yesterday from that prior signal and another HSI down here and here. So a lot of those did come back, retest. The other one was ASML. So look for that to continue. There's not, this is on acceleration watch. Your retracements are short-lived. You get a 4-hour retracement, maybe a 4-hour pattern, and then you resume the next leg. Yeah, that's ASML. Already that did the 1-2. The other one was KLAC. And they're not all the same. I mean, there's you see like the equipment makers are different than some of the other chip makers, the cheaper chips. But remarkable. I mean, again, just do the trend line, trend channel on these, and that You ride that. You ride that until it's broken, and you're here at all-time new highs. The weekly chart looks like, psh, look at that. You have a massive deep crab that's at 675 as a hop level, and it's just getting blown out. Really amazingly strong, generationally cyclical stuff happening. It's remarkable. What's up, Jake? Jake's saying, Nicola, Jake, I'm going to share something with you. Stick with the big ones. I think crypto's got enough speculative stuff. I'm sure I'm happy to pop it up for you. I'm not going to get into too many of these. Yeah, I don't want to touch it. No, let's go to something. You've got Nikola, maybe that pops, but I'll give you Nike. Okay, of where the next area to go to should be. And I'll tell you why. Because all right, those are the cues. Those are some tech. I can cover a ton. I want to get to the category of things that have yet to move. All right, where are the opportunities now? Nike. Okay, Nike retesting in a whole area, larger area, 92 to 102. I'm fine with all of it. It's taken a while. There's the weekly. Okay, doesn't look that great, but I would argue that this long-term uptrend is trying to set kind of a base launch pad for the next leg within what really easy to do. That kind of a trend channel, longer term. That's what you're thinking about. We should all be thinking about marveling maybe what's happening with the SPY and with the diamonds in terms of breakout of these kind of stocks and doing it, especially this week. Here are the diamonds weekly. That's a beauty. And the 1618 on this looks more assured now than even the Qs. That's a deep crab pattern on the diamonds, gets you to 420, 425. So these big stocks, definitely. Victoria brings up a great point. Disney, massive long-term turnaround. And I agree. Took a while to base out. This thing has been a dog for 4 or 5 years. But you go to long-term history. Let's go long-term history. Just what are we thinking about here? Because I think that's a good place in terms of contrarian thinking of long-term opportunities. And I'm talking things that can come back, recover from the last correction, and actually then what are they going to do for the next 2 or 3 years? Long-term uptrend. I do think what's happening right at around $90 on Disney is something where it's trying to put in major lows, historic lows, I would even argue. You have the monthly chart on Disney. Okay. Holding. Definitely some patterns, but squeezed between deep crab at around 109 to 160. But if the Dow, Nike, others, old economy are going to come back to life because this market is going to do a new leg, it's a place to be looking. Absolutely. After several years. And it was, I think the first time I started taking shots on Disney was back in 22, and they didn't work. It just kind of was a dud. Why would it work now? Well, you've got the diamond, you got the Dow working. You've got a weekly chart that looks like that on Disney. So that's nice. I agree. Really quick, the SPY. Look at this. Look at this candle. Hold on, let me clean up the chart. SPY's really got a pop here of, I'm impressed what it's doing this week. We had this long extended a yellow dot up here. What does that yellow dot mean? Well, actually, that yellow dot is related to this first arrow. That's HSI, Harmonic Strength Index. That's usually, we start looking there. Okay, but where was the dot where you have a retest with 1 and 2 red bars? It was already there. Even though the signal was here, the true confirmation was there. And so we would start maybe looking the following week. What is it doing? Blowing through. What's that tell you? Well, nothing here. Maybe it was just a pause. Default up to your big triggers. I mean, SPY is the same, really running closely to the diamonds more so than Qs, I would say. Beautiful W formation, 84.7, 85%, gives you a deep crab. 1618 gets you to 560, 565. All of this is great. And you look at the individual price action, especially today, this week. Nothing's stopping this thing. In fact, you couldn't ask for a more direct rally and run to target than that, without a doubt. What's going on, Philip? Philip, actually, I sent you an email, I believe yesterday. Please check your email, and we can get back to you on the rest. What's up, Panda Poet? We're not going to do any of those kind of funny coins because it's just not worth it. Listen, let's be really serious about where everyone is right now. If you are here today, listening to recording, involved with the markets, the window is opened. Okay? Markets are running hard in a way that you haven't seen really since 2021, and dare I say generationally in maybe a decade. If this is more like what I've been kind of alluding to, that thinking this has like a 1996 feel to it. It has a 95, 96 feel to it, where 3-4 years on, the levels that you reached were unthinkable. And I think that's kind of the backdrop here. You have a major market move going to a 1618. So, and it's happening now. And it doesn't last forever. So stick with the best, stick with the biggest, okay? Stick with the most liquid, stick with the clearest opportunities. Don't screw around and kind of like throw cash at X, Y, or Z because of whatever. If you have concrete structures, confirmation, targets, go with it, because what typically happens is that when you're going off of those levels, the bigger explosion moves happen as they blow through targets. And that's what we're seeing right now. Definitely critical. Like I just told the group over the last 2 hours in our crypto webinar, like, this is a gift. If you're involved with the markets right now, it's a gift. The window is open. It is my top priority for the next 6 months to take advantage of this, because it's going to be gone. And probably in a year from now, we will have somewhat subdued markets. We will be higher, but it won't be aggressively running like you're seeing now into June later in the year. That's the SPY. Those are a few examples of big markets. Before I jump to Bitcoin, we have to talk oil and gold. And crude oil is one of the reasons why you see this thing start to branch out. Oil stocks catching a bid, gold, amazing. All right, where we're monitoring this big bat pattern on light sweet crude. What does that mean? Well, we have bullish consolidation structure that has, on the weekly long term, 1 and 2 tests looking for 70 to be a floor with a target 2 run to 107 off of that pattern. Look, target 2 designation came in right there back in December, and then there's confirmation. We've talked about this over the last many months, but now, okay, we should start to see this thing get out at least 93 first stop. And then some of those, like we've said, I don't like, I could go through 100 of these, but for simplicity, okay, repetition is the mother of skill idea. We're looking to just emphasize those clearest of harmonic pattern structures, how they confirm, how they unfold. There you go. That was Occidental. The other one was Apache. And those aren't the greatest ones in the sector either. But there's Apache. But super clean. 30, 38, target 1. The other one that I mentioned was Rig, and that overshot it, but now coming back. So Transocean, like around 550. I think that was this is more like a weekly. Yeah, that was the bat with this return back to retest the bat. 5 back to 9 kind of a thing on Rig. But there's better plays like, ConocoPhillips trending. Really nice. And this looks like it wants to do, even on the short term, from target 1 back up to 122, 130. Valero, the refiners, I mean, just breaking out. Valero's rocking. So this sector continues. I mean, for it probably, let's get a really clear view. This is Valero on a monthly. Okay. And not a lot of people are talking about this, but this is a massive breakout with, in the same way, and we're going to go to crypto in a second, but look, refiners, really strong, doing this bigger move where 1618 at a minimum that's a monthly chart. A bit of a more sound investment. Valero, okay, go to 170 up to 190 pretty easily now that you have cracked these multi-year highs. That's the only thing left. And if we go crazier than that, you're 230, 240. Big stuff. All right. Gold, really quick. Saving crypto for last. But gold is just, I said this last week, and I really think it's important to kind of emphasize from a historic perspective, folks, that this is a day that gold bugs have been talking about for decades. I really mean decades. And even, I don't know, I've been to conferences and I've met like gold fund managers who are just strictly gold, especially the European guys or some Middle Eastern guys that just take physical possession of the gold. Like they'll buy physical bars and say, okay, move it over into my vault. And that's how they play it. It's kind of crazy because they're gold bugs. Or even the older commodity guys who are, Peter Schiff guys who are just, gold maximalists. You have to say, wow, okay, this is really, first of all, it's a beautiful chart, technically. And gold's at $2,200 an ounce, and no one's really freaking out. It does say a lot about what's going on in terms of dollar possibilities, okay, and overall faith in the fiat system. And I'm not a big fiat argument guy, but this is real stuff. And look, that's a monthly chart. It's a bullish engulfing, taking out all resistance after a really nice 2023 with only one place to go. And you have to go all the way back to 2001 where you had your first leg, A to B, a near perfect 50% correction. And now that 50, B to C, sets up your reciprocal ABCD. Sorry, sets up reciprocal ratio. That's the 2.0. It's a 2.0 because it best fits with the 50, but you get the one-to-one equivalent A to B, C to D. A to B, all right? What's that? It's 250 up to, call it 1850, 1600 generally. 1600 off of 1050. You get the picture? 2650 to 2800. It's there. It's just amazing. Okay? It's slower. It's total snail. Who said that? James. Yeah, James, it is a snail. But the thing is that gold doesn't really lose its value. And that kind of century long, 20-year long super cycle bull is, hey, you want to preserve capital? You put your money there. There are people on this planet who have too much money and they need to put it somewhere where they don't lose it. And so dunking it in the gold so they don't lose is a really easy proposition for many billionaires to accept. So they throw it there. If you're going to follow along, connect the dots, you go to 2,700. That's where from here, it might take another year or two, but you can assume 10% a year. I don't think that's crazy. 8 to 10% gains a year on gold. But it's a big technical breakout on gold for this reason, because you've already run through the prior high. Okay? And you ran through a few tests up here in the last few years. Major stuff that now that you've pierced it, close it right here and you have a phenomenal candle where gold is. And gold has also started a new acceleration phase within. Let the blue line, okay, that's your average. That's kind of your average target, your average trend line. But I'd venture to say that you're more on like an accelerated trend line that you get to that target by February 2026. You are off of this blue trend line. You're off of that now. You're on this accelerated trend line. So 2,700 by February 2026 is a great approximation. You maintain this uptrend. So I can't understress that. I can't understate that enough. And so pay attention. Now, the new gold. BTC. And it is. The new gold. Bitcoin futures. There you go. What happened? 67,000. Where are we going? I think it's just with everything that people know, understand, the halving, the current market environment. Of course, we got that Fed news yesterday with, likelihood that they're going to want to cut rates or ease up pretty soon. Fundamentally, couldn't ask for a better story. You just couldn't. Technically, you're still going to have to line up your opportunities and everything to absolutely benefit the most. We could chase it now, and I think it'd still be fine. But as we saw just a couple days ago, Bitcoin was sitting at 60,000 not too long ago. Check this out. Let's go here first on the 4-hour. And, 73,700 practically to 61K in 2 weeks. It's a big retracement. It's sizable, 20% practically. Gave you a great deep crab. So thing to look out for on Bitcoin is that, first of all, we're going to have to work out this crab. I don't think we're going to blast off just yet. If we could get the type 2, that would be the better situation. I want to see what happens here because you're one red candle away on a 4-hour basis of getting a yellow dot and sending it back down. Okay, so that's one thing. What's the daily? Because the one technique I've been saying, especially those folks using the software, especially where we are at this point in the cycle, daily HSI oversold. We're not going to get daily patterns anymore. You might in some. We did get some great ones right in early February. But at this point, 4-hour patterns. I got to say for a second, welcome Mitch Ray. What's up? Mitch Ray just entered the house. What's up, Mitch? I was just trying to say to everybody that, look, if you're not with the software, you have to get with the software because everything we do with the patterns are automated for a reason. Okay? I mean, you can go with the clearest of structures. Yes, you can hand measure. If you have experience, yes, you can hand measure. But the targets that are measured off of those algo generated patterns are as reliable as the entry levels themselves. So critical to understand that, and it's all laid out. So something like Bitcoin, yeah, it's an opportunity. We have a daily HSI oversold with 4-hour patterns here, but are we going to get the 1-2? Do we need to retest 61,000 and then set up the launch pad where we really get price discovery on Bitcoin? That's the ideal scenario. But be mindful of that. I mean, Bitcoin is going to have more of these 15, 20% corrections in a short period of time, a few days, where you're going to feel like the floor has fallen out. Be aware of it. Great to see you, Mitch. Thanks for showing up. Great to see everybody else. Greg, what's going on? One Wheeler, Steve, everyone else. Drums for Dave. Nice, Brian. G-Dog. Great to have everybody. Listen, the other kind of big update with cryptos to pay attention to, I think Ethereum is top of the list. Look at the 4-hour structure right off the top on Ethereum. So 3290 with that 886 off of, that's kind of like the monthly retracement. You basically retested the lows for March. Now, can we get something on the 4-hour? Like, can we get something like this? A retest, confirm, and then go? Because the weekly on Ethereum, I mean, it was just a scratch below the 886. Looks like this. You know, heck, we could even, I guess we could call that an alternate bat, but it needs to hit the 886 at a minimum, even if it was only that. And that's still 4450, 4400, which, yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. And on that retracement, here's the big thing about Ethereum. Okay, we got that 4-hour pattern. You have a daily oversold. Now, here's the added consideration, something I was talking to the group earlier about that I want to make everyone be aware of. Listen, the bottom line here is amplified RSI. It's just, look, it's my harmonic take on, juicing up the relative strength formula so we can get better readings, clearer readings of like more oversold, or even like something like this. Look, getting this formation and an extended M formation tells me the trend is firm. And then when it comes all the way down, gets oversold, okay, end of the reaction. That is the complex return. Hey, I wanted to share. Looks like, there you go. It looks like this. Okay? M formation in RSI. It corrects down and stabilizes like this. And so then we're looking for signals here to play the return move to retest the relative strength reading. Why? Because that M formation is usually temporary, requires a secondary test. That's kind of a twist on Wells Wilder's comment that he always felt that relative strength was best served with two tests. Well, in the same way, you've got that going on right now on Ethereum. This is daily, by the way. You've triggered Harmonic Strength Index, and we would be looking for this thing to make the resumption back to retest that overbought again. So I think reaction's over here. A matter of time before we make the resumption move. That's Ethereum. And on the 4 hour. I mean, perfect patterns. By the way, if you didn't know, that last sell-off 2 days ago, it generated a slew of opportunities. It generated a ton of these type of pattern setups, 4 hour patterns, HSI oversolds on the daily. A few more and I'll take some shills. A few more and I'll take some shills. I have to kind of address things like Cardano for the very patterns like that. Okay, I wish I had confirmation on that, but definitely saying, okay, I'm going to pay attention at 59 cents. Shark pattern. That's one. A couple of the things that we talked about. AGIX, man, that's a huge monster winner. You know, we've been on that since like 20 cents. Wanted to show you. I think it's just massive. What was that? It was 20 to 130. It's backed off, but look. Another butterfly. New 4 hour pattern. Let's see if we can get a retest. That's the other thing about these 4 hour patterns. I would prefer to see the ones that have done the type 1 and then come and do the type 2, kind of confirm this inflection support and give me confirmation before I would assume something like, you know, go to T2 and beyond. But I like that one, and we have to look at fetch. I mean, that thing has been just, I think that's my number one to date. And that's, Randa 3, pausing, not much on the 4 hour. I think the daily, the daily has, so this is something we're going to see, or we should see going forward, where we're getting later into this cycle. This is already done. If you go low to high, I would say almost 20x, 18x. I mean, let's be reasonable. It's probably more like 10, 12x. But are we going to get another leg? All right, yeah, we're being greedy. I'm being greedy. Tell you that. Being greedy. Go to the weekly. Okay. Can I expect more from this? Should I expect more from this? You got, there's an HSI trying to generate. Are we overbought? Of course. But are we going to do something more? Like, we had this big pattern on fetch. And if you want to go back for reference, check out what we were saying. I guess it was last summer, July and August, and then even through the fall. This is where we can make bigger assumptions because, hey, if it's a cycle recovery, it goes to the 886. Maximum. Maybe the 50. Blew through. What's the 1618? 1618 was $2. Tell me what it does. Blows through. So how high can that go? Because currently, there's 1618, almost 2618 perfectly. Well, we're going to run the scale, and just like Bitcoin, okay, I'm the only way that I'm gauging this is I'm using harmonic scale. 1618, 2.0, 224, 2618. Once I get up to the 2618 to 3618 range, I'm going to be super aggressive in management, knowing that that could give an inflection at any point. I mean, we're here currently. I would say you're almost there to 2618, but maximum on fetch, I would say, all right, 450, something like that. Yes, I'm being greedy. I'd be perfectly fine to go get out here and look for another opportunity, but measured 3618 level, yeah, that could be 450. Couple more. Reddit is live, the IPO. Yeah, let that roll. Someone asked me about someone asked me about Reddit and even new IPOs, and I told them you gotta wait for, hold on, 30 days. One second, one second. What the heck's going on here? Okay, sorry. Okay, let's get back to it. A few more. Sure. Yeah, what's up? Himothy wants to look at A0. That's pretty funny, Himothy. A0 is a new one, right? Yeah, look at that. Weekly. What do we want? We want type 2s. When do we want them? We want them now. Well, that would be here at 73. You're at 114 at the moment. All crypto is not created the same. What's the daily look like? Not bad. I mean, there's HSI, but with that weekly, all right, the daily's got a type 2 there. Would really have to hold. A0 has to hold 109. Wait for a dot, my man, on that one. I would wait for a dot, especially you see a weekly like that. I mean, jeez. Also, because it is a new crypto, don't be surprised to know that it'll take time to work itself out. Couple more. I'm not going to go too much longer today, guys. I'm definitely talked out after today's crypto webinar. Axie, I talked about that today. How to deal with underperformers. We've liked that at 675. But we talked about this, getting a haircut back to 9 because of the shark. And, you just can't expect much. Nice little moves, but you got to trade them. You're not, I don't think this one's at a point where you're going to expect explosion. But, 9 back to 12, go for it. They're not there yet. If you're interested, send me a note or connect with the Discord for today's recording on what we did on that. Yeah, a few more. How about, yeah, the meme coins? I know they're running. Doge is running. I said this. This is a interesting creature. I think we have to, dare I say, give it a little more credence. But money's coming in. Look, this pattern back in January was a perfect T2. And I wasn't crazy about it, but I was like, oh, reluctantly. And I'll tell you why, because I didn't want to miss it. I caught the last one. Did I want to miss this one? Well, I think I maybe missed a bit of it. I'm on this. I own a chunk. It's not like my last chunk, but I chunk enough that whatever is what it is. You can go shoulda, woulda, coulda forever. But it was a T2, and then you exploded to 20. Almost 50% correction high to low again, but HSI were oversold. Look, and guess what? Remember, I've been talking about this complex structure. I talked about it today. The whole fact that you had a massive overbought reading, you went oversold. Okay, now HSI, that helps start looking on Doge. The 4 hour had a pattern too, just on this retest. I mean, it's shark pattern. You see that? It's, you know, I added to that down there too. So watch Doge. I'm looking right here at 15 change, 16. Are we going to do a 1-2 or are we just going to go straight up? We'll know probably by tomorrow, or we're going to do that and go. But it's building. I think it's building. Yeah, Evan, what's up, Evan? Evan's saying Pepe. Here's the other one that I posted in my group recently, and it's I think it shows you kind of what is possible, even in the craziest of coins. But here you go. This is why we do what we do. Gartley pattern in green Satoshi. Mitch, are you still here? I was going to send this to you, but I thought you would kill me. Green Satoshi coin. But look at the Gartley. It's perfect. The algos, the B point, A, B, C, D, all those levels, the A, B, C, D construction, that's automatically generated. That, it's not the best symmetry because you have the big moon phase, but it's a beautiful Gartley. 4 cents, guys. That was a sweet. That, you get surprised, but which ones work for you? You think, oh, okay, I think Bitcoin or Ethereum are going to be the best ones for me. No, it's going to be a thing called Green Satoshi coin. Yeah, I made my money on the last crypto cycle on Green Satoshi coin and then daily oversold. Remember, harmonic pattern collection software, people. 4 hour patterns, daily HSI or dots. And if you're in here and you don't have the software, folks, please get with the program. You can send me a note if you have questions, harmonictrader@gmail, or send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. 14-day free trial. You're running out of time. You got this window with crypto. Okay, the halving is going to come and things are just going to pop. So the end of the monster opportunities is like right now. I mean, I don't want to say it's green Satoshi token, but it's got all the markings. 4 hour pattern, spot on, daily oversold. Let's go. That's a little bit of a shill. A couple others, though, I haven't talked about. I talked about Immutable X. Okay, another one. Look at this deep crab right off the top. Eyes on that because, look, this has been a big winner. Immutable X, 50. Now you got a bat pattern. You're trying to break out of this and basically do something where you go full price discovery, 1618. This is one of those new crypto like SEI and Render and JUP and all those and all the other ones that are trying to do price discovery, new range. I think on some of the other exchanges, it's a little newer, maybe slightly higher breakout range, but you get the picture. But it's probably off of this pattern, this pullback, this retracement. You're looking for this pause to end, and that would be a great spot off the T2 crab. They'll go like this, up to those big daily targets. That's what we want to line up for sure. What's up, stepdad? He wants to look at Koval. Circuits of value. How's that? Sounds like an electric company. Koval. And it's some gamer, right? Yeah, circuits of value. Yeah, that's like, it looks like green Satoshi coin. Although I wish I had HSI down there on the 4 hour, no pattern. Anything on the daily. Yeah, some daily oversolds. I think this thing is real. That's thinly traded. But probably if you want to speculate, not a bad spot to look at that because you have that big daily oversold. Look, Harmonic Strength Index is proprietary indicator only on this platform, folks, and it works great. It works great with crypto, especially on these kind of pullbacks when there isn't much else there. Circuits of value at around 3 cents, 2.9 cents. And on a 4 hour, not yet, but okay. Speculate though, and for goodness sakes, if you're in something like this at 3 cents and it goes to 6 cents, sell half when you double. Let the rest ride. Couple more. SUI, yeah, that's a real hyped up one. People talking about that. I got that. Yeah. SUI on the daily. It looks good. Look, last HSI at 160, pretty big level. And that's not giving up much for the year. Not giving them up much at all. 4 hour, anything on 4 hour? Oh, yeah, there you go. Just a big bat pattern extended. It's tough to see, but software's kicked it out at 155. Yeah, you're ready. That's ready to go. That one, and here's the other one, Ondo. Ugh. Yeah, this bothers me. 76. I had pulled this up. Yeah, I had this bat pattern just a couple days ago at 43. So, okay, you missed it, but what does it tell you? There's still great patterns getting formed every week. Ideal, beautiful patterns don't need to chase. This one was, I'm trying to find it on it. Yeah, this is relatively new. Yeah, this is relatively new. Matt Miller's asking if a pattern completes its targets after a type 1, do we expect to occur when it retraces to a type 2? What would you expect to occur if price then retraces to a type 2? Listen, the type 1, type 2 framework, all right, it's a general framework, structural. Some of the considerations do involve things like confirmation. Do you have confirmation at the retest level to really validate from a trade perspective something that has enough of a bias where it supports the retest? Here's Matic. Okay, Matic did this long term. Matic overran the first test here, but there was the confirmation more like 56. And then it just, you know, it's so close to target 1, we'll call it that. I think on other data feeds it did get there. I'll come back to this maybe on simplicity's sake, time's sake. Regardless, comes back, retest on that second test there. It's not a guarantee, but there's things you can absolutely assess as it gets there. For example, if we're riding a trend line up to target and we're in the position and it breaks the trend line and rolls over and falls apart on you, well, okay, you didn't catch it up here, but you have your trade management has to kick in and then look for the full return. That's why I always say type 1 Trades, type 1 moves, aggressive execution, aggressive trade management. Type 2s, looser, give them more time, longer and larger expectations. And that's what Matic here is as a type 2, kind of extended. Wasn't this a weekly? Yeah, look, there was, here, let me clean this up. There's the weekly. It's almost perfect on the weekly shark. You have the 1, the 2, let's say just assume that got to target 1. All right. Gets to target 1. Well, if you're not out at target 1 and it rolls down, breaks down, okay, you're out of the trade, because even if you waited till the breakdown under $1, you assume it's going back to 50 cents. But a lot of these are now T2s. And they're going to take longer, but, you know, the T2 here for Matic would be full 886 up to target 2, where the target 2 sits as well at 265. 1 or 2 more. Yeah, Gala. I can look at Gala. We've talked about that one. I think that's another one where you're rotating over to those. Gala, Phantom, some of the gaming. I mean, that was a nice first thrust. And remember, Gala was, I know on stream here, we were all over that. This shark pattern right at 2 cents. Go back to February 1st to be exact. I know we covered a slew of those. And Gala also had these patterns. It's just, you know, capturing down here off the pattern at 180, 160, whatever, goes to 8. There's 5, 6x. I mean, those are insane moves, but relative then to weekly time frame, how high are they going? Do we take a profit from here, from when you go from 2 to 7 or 8 cents, or is something larger going to happen here on Gala? I have a chunk. I have Gala for sure down there. You know, are we going to go 382? I think that would probably be the maximum assumption for something like this. Again, we talked about that, but that would be what, Justin, 30x off the low, Evan, right? Evan, 30 off the low. Justin, 30x off the low. Got to think about it that way. And we'll know when we get there. Listen, these will pop off. Some will be late cycle pop-offs. And they'll look like, you might look at them and they'll finally say, oh yeah, okay, finally this is going to, it's going to play the catch up. And it'll go through the 382 and it'll eventually go to all-time new highs. So I'll just wait for $1, and it never happens. This is going to be the backside of this year, folks. Those are going to be the considerations later this year when you get to target. Are you going to sell? All right. Big stuff ahead. I mean, really just exciting stuff. And I've seen a few of these shows. Maybe not as many crypto as the rest of you, but yeah, I'm excited for this asset class. I really, it's got a .com feel, folks. It really does. It's got a .com feel. And if it's 1996, all right, let's go. That was a fun time. Those were a fun few years for sure. So that's what I have for today, folks. Listen, great live stream, great crypto stream earlier today. So thank you to all those people that showed up. If you have any questions on the software, again, get over to Harmonic Trader. Stop scrolling around. Let's get serious. Really, if you're spending time in here, get with the software, hpc at sr-analyst.com. And then come on back on Tuesday, and we're going to see how we respond off of these big 4-hour and daily signals. You know, Bitcoin, that's the big crypto thing to leave you with. You know, daily HSI, what's going to happen in the 60K level? When are we going to launch again? All right. Have a great weekend. Until Tuesday, as always, go get them. And we'll see you then.